welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our book for today is Brak the Barbarian by John Jakes, and published by, one second, here we go, a Star book, some division of a Star book. There we go, hopefully you can see that. Okay, now there is fighting, killing, murder, monsters, magic, destruction, and evil in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, so this is an oldie. I checked today and it came out, well, not this edition, but it came out in the late 60s. In 68, I believe it was. And I've never heard of Brak the Barbarian. It's just my friend who was at a bookshop and saw this randomly and asked if I wanted it. And I thought, hey, that looks like something I would read. And so he bought it for me. And I finally read it. And as I guessed when I showed it in my haul, because Mr. Sleepy Reader told me it's basically a copycat of Conan, or inspired by Conan the Barbarian. In this case, it's Brak the Barbarian. Sorry. Or Bark, as I've been mistakenly calling him. For the entirety of, almost the entirety of me reading it. Until yesterday, my friend Mr. Gray said, wait, what do you mean Bark? It's Brock. And I was like, for fuck's sakes, how did I read that wrong? I do that sometimes. There's some reason my mind just switches, my brain switches the letters for some reason. But anyway, so this is, if you've ever read any Conan, this might almost be essentially it. Except, I don't think I would describe that Bark is a much more, how do I put it, more noble version of Conan. Not that Conan's evil, but he's more, after what he wants and doesn't often care that much for the consequences. But Brak is not. He does feel sorry and does not like to steal or take things off the dead, for instance. So we meet our main character, Brak the Barbarian, depicted quite horridly here. He was banished from his land because he mocked the gods of his land too often. That's it. It doesn't go into any further detail, really. About, and I should have mentioned this earlier, this is the first book in this, I think trilogies, there's 3 books, I believe it was 3, it showed 4, I think, so yeah, it's a series. I don't know how the series continues, but yeah, it's a series, so this is the first one in the Brak the Barbarian series. So yeah, so we learn that about Brak, and then we basically follow him here on 5 adventures. For there are 5 stories. There's not, it's not like chapter 1, chapter 2, it just starts with the title and then it's the story. But they all basically link up to one another. The first story is when Brak, where Brak embarks on his journey. He wants to go, after being banished, he wants to go to this legendary city of Kordistan, if I'm not butchering that, because it promises great treasure and he's hell-bent on reaching it. And so this is his first time outside of his own land, and he goes into this city whose name don't even ask me to remember. And in the first story, he meets this annoying beggar who wants him to give him a coin, but Brak refuses. And this beggar, who's vindictive, ends up calling the silver-eyed boys of this city. basically like these demonic little boys. They have silver coins for eyes, and kind of like embedded in their eyes, and they have like these needle points on their fingers. So they kidnap Brak. They have like poison or something in those needle points, and they drag him with them because they've already kidnapped 2 people in order to sacrifice to the god Yob Haggoth. I think that might be inspired by Lovecraft. Then he meets there a priest of some unnamed god. That's how the god's literally called. And then another man who, the one that's been sent as this great priest, Septigundus. Again, I'm probably butchering names here. And his daughter. And this man basically sold his, I guess, soul and his eyes to this daughter in order to give him like a beautiful singing voice. And for many years he sang, but now he's, this miserable old man with no eyes. And so the daughter offers Brak, like, be mine and I'll rescue you, find someone else for the ceremony, but Brak refuses. Even though the offer is tempting. And then, in a frenzy from seeing the evil of the ceremony, he loses his mind, almost, and just starts killing and hacking, and he climbs up and basically, spears in the stomach this Yob Haggoth. And also manages, well, you can't really kill Septigundus and his daughter because they're technically not really alive. It's just their, I guess, manifestation in the world, a body, but it's not who they are, because he touches the necklace that the daughter gave him and summons her, and then her father sticks his ceremonial dagger inside of her, so that kills the body, I suppose. And also, Septigundus' body is like, it's full of, like, inside his skin are trapped the souls of all the poor bastards, I guess, he killed and sacrificed. Because his skin is alive with tormented faces and all that. Some creepy shit. So the gist of it is that he promises Brak that he will, he'll follow him to Khorasan and he will get him. He'll wait for him there. And then he disappears, and Brak says goodbye to the priest and the eyeless man, and goes on to continue his journey, even though they invite him to stay with them at least to eat. But he goes on, and the next place, as he goes further to the south to reach Khorasan, he gets kidnapped by the people of this kingdom, where a vile princess has has killed her uncle and taken the throne, and he's forced to work in mines for her, and he tries to escape but gets ratted on by his cellmate, but still he manages to escape, and he reaches a room where basically the princess showed how with magic she trapped her uncle, like he's almost dead, but his body is forever in torment. And there's also this kind of ugly dog creature with 6 legs as well that Brak ends up defeating, and also freeing the uncle. And then, well, the princess is at the mercy of all the prisoners that were in the mines, because she begs Brak to kill her, but he does not. And so I take it he gave her to them, and well, let's just say I don't imagine she had the most pleasant time. I can knows what those prisoners did to her before they killed her. Then in the third story, Brak comes across a king of some land. He's on the way to cross somewhere, and he's been saved by this king, because the way, there's people blocking the way that hold it hostage, basically making you pay them, and they killed, because Brak along the way met another priest of the unnameless god, and the priest didn't survive the attack, but Brak did. And so, as thanks to this king, he'll help him escort his daughter through this place to her betrothed. Now, this place has got this old man who has this like special magic silk that if it touches you, and you need special gloves, or sorry, gauntlets to even take it, it touches you and then it rips your heart out. It's like coming out to the silk, and that's it, you're dead. So that's what keeps his power. And he basically gives the father, the king, enough time until the morning to decide to give him the dowry for his daughter's payment. It looks like the daughter kind of is into the old man. Ugh. And and Brak from the beginning didn't like her. So the reason what the king asked Brak is to be an assassin for him. And so he waits for nighttime and then goes to... The other thing this king has is this old fish monster that he breeded down below there, because they're underground. But the daughter ends up betraying her father and Brak, because she warns the old man of the assassination, and Brak nearly dies, but ends up surviving, getting out of the pool where the fish is, because he goes to the old man's rooms, the old wizard, and he's ambushed, because they knew he would be coming. But yeah, he manages to get out, and then you got the old man waiting there as well, and he's about to use the silk on Brak. Brak manages with his broadsword to somehow push like the edge of it onto the old wizard himself, and so the old wizard suffers the same fate one of the king's courtiers had suffered, because he demonstrated on a poor courtier what he can do with the silk. And so he's dead. And the men that worked for him, they flee when they see that, because, well, no more silk. Their master's been defeated. And then behind him, Brak feels like a prickle, and it's daughter. She was on the old wizard's rooms, basically rotten from inside. There's something fucked in her soul. And so she's mad at him for killing him because she wanted to stay with him. And even before so, the father says that she's the daughter that brought him the most anguish. Must have a lot of daughters then. But yeah, she's like, well, that's it, I'm going to kill you. And Brak, she tells him, you won't dare hurt me. And yeah, Brak cannot. And so she's about to, take the dagger and push it into him. But then she falls after shrieking because a spear has been thrown at her into her chest. And the one who threw it was her father, who probably wondered what was happening and saw the whole thing, saw what his daughter has become, or always has been. And that's it. Brak gets a pony as thanks, because the king promised him half of the dowry continents, but Brak just wants a pony and to forget this whole ordeal. So that's the third story. Then the fourth story, Brak is getting slightly closer, and then he needs to go through this one desert. But he doesn't listen to the warnings of the people, the nomads, or what were they? And they told him, this is the shortest way, but don't go, and he ends up going. And then he comes across this monster thing. It's called the Thing That Crawls. Really disgusting thing. And it spits its poison on his cheek. And he falls, but he does injure it. And then he's basically... that's it, he's dead. But then he's found by this old merchant, Zama something, and his daughter. And the merchant is there. He wants to get the treasure of this city called Chambalore. Chambalore, it's called. It's in the desert, and all it's got left are the pillars there. And it says that there's these great chests of treasure, and he's so greedy he wants to get them, even though no one dares to go there. And he basically bargains with Brak for his life, because he has a solution that will cure Brak of the poison, and only he knows how to make it. And the daughter is horrified at what her father has become, but Brak has no choice. So he agrees. He wants Brak to help because, he has these big muscles. He can push the doors that he needs open. Because he stole these 2 clay tablets from another merchant, and they show the way to this treasure in Chambalore. And so Brak has no choice. He gets cured with the solution, and then he goes with the old merchant and his daughter until they reach down below to these doors, and Brak starts pushing, and with all his might, he manages to open it, but then I didn't exactly understand what happened. Somehow Brak's broadsword, I understand if he took it himself, but it ends up with the old merchant dying. Or if it's the old place itself that caused it. I'm not sure. I read it, but I still don't really understand what happened. But basically the old merchant is dead. And apparently Septagundus was in this... He was in this city in Chambalore many centuries. Centuries? No, hundreds of years ago. And Brak knows that that's true because the man's not really alive. If he is a man, even. And so things begin to crumble after the doors opened, and he quickly goes to the merchant's daughter, Dorit. Dorit, I think her name is. And he grabs her, and then they need to leave. But then this creature, the one that crawls, arrives back down appears down the stairs, wanting to kill Brak, wanting to get his revenge. And Brak realizes he has to be careful because the old man is dead, and he's the only one who knew how to make the solution. So he, instead of swinging his sword at the thing, he takes it differently and throws it like a spear, killing the creature. But then he and Dorit have to climb, but she's out of it. And so Brak has no choice but to lift her along with him and leave his broadsword there. And he nearly slips one time touching the poison, but he doesn't. And so he gets out of there, and they spend the night in the desert, and then I think in the morning he grabs his sword, because at least I think so, because it's not mentioned, but somehow he has it again. And so in the morning they go on horses. And then in the last and final story, Brak has left Dorit in another town with a distant cousin who's going to take care of her. So she's, as okay as she can be. Then, in the final story, Brak is getting very close to Kurdistan, closer than he's been. He's riding on his pony in this land ravaged by a war. These people versus the Got people that are very hairy. And so he goes through there, but then where he's sitting with his pony, he hears strange noises, and he goes to check what it is, even though he wonders if he should. Even though he wonders if he should, but then like goes anyway, and he finds it's like this big slug monster about to attack this charioteer, the man in the chariot that fell over. And the gist of it is Brak somehow manages to defeat this monster, and the charioteer is happy because at least he can go to his horned lady in honor. That's the goddess of this place, the horned lady. And literally a young woman depicted, and she's got horns, and then a dagger between her breasts. So he helps the man. The man asks for his sword before he dies. Now it's getting towards twilight, so he does. And the charioteer didn't see Brak's face very well, but when he does, he gasps and he calls Brak to him and tells him, "You said you were headed south. Do not go. Turn back, stranger. You cannot." But before he can explain, he dies. And Brak decides to still keep going. And along the way, he goes through the battlefield, and then he sees, in the battlefield, there's all these bodies, because this place, they won the war, but they've suffered great damage, great losses and casualties. So he goes through and he tries to find some coins, because he doesn't necessarily need money for much, but occasionally it does help his journey. And he sees a sword sticking out of a man, but he feels that he just cannot desecrate the body like that. So he continues until he finds, he makes camp for the night with some of the tents. And then at night, he suddenly wakes up, he finds this golden shield, and then he sees what appears to be a ghost, or a wraith. And it's this beautiful lady, which is obviously a ghost, because where her feet should be is just black smoke. And she almost touches Brak, but then she disappears. He's like, oh, what the hell? So he continues on his journey. He sees on the road that there's an inn and a way to cross the river, and he's headed there. But on his way there, there's a group of riders with the tiger, capes made out of a tiger. And he doesn't want to come across them because he also has that shield that might have belonged to someone important. Brak wanted to take it to exchange it, for some food and a place to sleep. But that doesn't end up going like that. So one of the commander of those men, he notices Brak's face in the shield. Well, the shield first, and he tells him, "Come forth, we will not hurt you." And Brak comes forth, and the man clearly looks at him surprised. But then he lies and tells him, "Oh, I'm sorry, it's a mistake." But Brak knows that he's lying. Something here is fishy, but since they let him go, he doesn't question it too much. He just leaves quickly and gets to the inn, but he's too late because the boat has already left. And the innkeeper tells him the boat will not come again till dawn. You can wait till then. But then he sees the shield and he sees Brak's face. And Brak's like, again, what is with you? What is wrong with my face? What is on it? Why is it so scary? But the man won't answer and quickly runs back into the inn and shuts the door and bolts it. So Brak, like the man said, he could sleep in the, tells him, at least let me sleep in your stable. So Brak goes to the stable, feeds his pony, and then lies to sleep. Before that, the innkeeper does bring him some food. And he sleeps, but then at night, those same men break in, effectively barge in and kidnap him. And there they see some Lord Hale, and he's engaged to these. The ghost of the ghost woman that Brak saw is the queen of this place, Rhea. And Brak meets Lord Hale and her young sister. No, Rhea's the young sister. The older sister had a different name. And yes, and so Brak finally learns that he looks exactly like the prince, the queen's late husband, that they couldn't find the body of. And in their customs, it's a bad omen if they don't find the body and send it down this river and into paradise. And so he has to, they need, and Brak looks exactly spitting image like the husband. And so this Lord Hale is going to sacrifice Brak so he can basically rule the throne. But Rhea, the young princess, is not happy with this. This doesn't sit right with her to do. But he tells her, Lord Hale, what would you rather be, not have the throne? Because they'll see this as a bad omen if they don't send the body down the river. So then a weird shaman comes and pricks Brak with this needle that paralyzes him and puts him to sleep. And then later he wakes up, who knows how long has passed, and he's on this ship that basically goes to perform this funeral. And he's laying next to the embalmed body of the queen. And he's like, oh, and he sees around all the people, and he wonders if something failed because he's regaining feeling. So what happened is the young princess Rhea, she wiped the needle that they were going to prick him with the needle one last time, but she wiped it clean before they did. And she tells him, here, I brought you this, the thing here, you take it and you escape. Jump off the boat and swim. Because she's in love with him, is what I gathered from all this. Maybe she was in love with with her older sister's husband, perhaps. Who knows? But anyway, she, what did I want to say? So she leaves the sword. She brought him his broadsword. She leaves it there and sneaks away again. Because they're all on the boat. Lord Hale, she is. Soon they have to disembark from it, or else they'll also go into the paradise, and that is blasphemy. So Brak gets up and starts jumping, but of course someone notices that he's walking, and what the hell's going on? And the soldiers of this of Lord Hale, the one with the tiger capes, they start going towards him, and mayhem begins, and people from the shore. Prince Nikor, there we go. Prince Nikor is alive. He's walking. And as the fighting goes, Brak suddenly, again, the soul of the ghost of the former queen, she approaches Brak again. She appears, and she goes towards him and starts engulfing him because she wants to take his soul with her. Even though to her he's not exactly Nikor, her consort. She can tell that something's different. But still, she tries to take him. While that's happening, it looks to everyone like he's convulsing. And they're trying to kill him, but they're not succeeding because he's... One soldier that Lord Hale yells at to kill him, he touches him with the spear, but he ends up dying because of the ghostly powers of the queen. And then the Lord Hale himself goes forward, and he's about to essentially behead Brak. But then on his sword, the Brak before saw that there were stains that weren't removed. So what happened is Lord Hale is the one who killed the consort prince. Because if he remained alive, even though the queen's dead, he would have been the ruler, I take it. Because then he would have just married the young sister. And he got rid of his body. I guess he didn't consider the fact that he would need a body for the ceremony, or else he wouldn't rule. Maybe he's a bit dim-witted. But yeah, he's the one who murdered him, and that blood, that bit of his soul that wasn't destroyed, was on the sword, and awoke once it met the queen. And then Brak ends up killing him, and the soul of Prince Nikor is free now because it's been released thanks to him getting revenge. Oh yeah, while Brak is trying to escape, he's thirsty for revenge, and he ends up shooting a spear at one of the soldiers. And because of that, someone falls, and basically it makes it so that they don't grab on in time to escape, so they're all doomed. Now, the Lord Hale is dead. Everyone's trying to escape. It's mayhem. Brak is trying to find Princess Rhea. He does. And they both jump out off of the ship before... Where it's going, it's not really a paradise. It's kind of like... they go to the edge of a big waterfall, from what I understood from the description. And they just go down it. And I guess the ship just... The ships that they send there, they would just be destroyed by the fall with the bodies. And so they jump, and they somehow miraculously land on a piece of rock there in the mountains. And Brak, later on, the princess is still dazed, and this is blasphemy what we've done. And Brak manages to, after a long and painful climb, to get them out of there. Then they rest, and then for several months, he can't just return the princess just like that to her people. Brak devises a plan. He works for several months, gathering coins, and then he has the shield with him. And what he did was he made the face of the horned lady resemble the face of the princess. So when she comes back, it will be such a strong sign that no babbling of bad omens from the priest is going to question her rule. And she begs him to stay with her, and she loves him, but he says, no, I don't know why, but I must go to Kurdistan. I just know that my faith is there. That my faith is there. And even though he knows that Septagundus will be waiting for him there, he still must go. And he turns, and he doesn't look back as the princess begs him to. And when he does turn around, he sees that she's already left with they hired a man with horses or something to escort her. And that is it. Brak continues on his adventure. And that's where the story ends. Let me just check. One moment. Yeah, and he goes, directs his beast into the far-lying south. Well, let me read you that man without eyes that he met actually wrote a ballad about him. I gotta read this one to you, because, there we go. And the story is called The Barrage of Souls. So, okay, the story is, the song is the Song of Brak, and it goes, down from the north rode a wild barbarian, down from the north with his sword in his hand. Down from the north rode Brak the barbarian, seeking the way to a far distant land. Bound for the south in the warm climes of Kurdistan, bound for the south where the gold idols gleam, bound for the south rode Brak the barbarian, seeking the way to a golden dream. Black was the pain of the wild barbarian, black was the pain for the maid on the hill. Black was the pain of Brak the barbarian, he rode away and he rides somewhere still. And that's here, I hope it shows it well enough. That's the song. And you see, Tiresias, I'm probably reading that, but he's the one that made the song in the story. Okay, there we go. Right, so cover, it's atrocious. I mean, if we ignore the characters on it, the rest of it's pretty good, but Look at the way their bodies are shaped. There's something fucked up. I mean, look at that. And look at the woman's body. That just looks fucked. Like, look at the way her stomach is. Like, I get it, she's sitting like that, but even this looks wrong somehow. I can't explain it, it looks wrong. Also, would they have nail polish in that era? I very much doubt it. But yeah, even Brak, look the way he is. I don't know how to explain it. I just know it looks wrong. Almost like the bodies are a bit fucked up. Especially hers. Like, that torso is, maybe she has scoliosis, I don't know. But that's how it looks. Looks like the body of a scoliosis patient. I mean, other than that, the colors and everything else is good, but I don't know, in the belt, too. Now I'm just noticing it. But yeah, it just doesn't look good, man. And I couldn't find this edition on Goodreads either. I had to pick a different one. But if you look at the other covers, the art on them is, well, significantly better. I don't know, this just looks, also the way he's positioned, like, why would you stand like that on this? Like, you see he's all crooked. Maybe the cover artist knew a lot of people with scoliosis or something, I don't know. But it just looks wrong, man. It looks wrong. But yeah, okay, so cover aside, the looking wrong, I very much enjoyed these stories. This is effectively like reading Conan, but as I said, a more noble version of Conan. And I'd also say somewhat a smarter version of him as well. There's many times here where Brak, although he's, can anger from things, he does wait to think about what he needs to do. And just overall, not a bad man. Like, again, he couldn't kill that evil daughter, even though she betrayed her father, but he still didn't find it in him to kill her. And as it said about him, he's too honest for this world that he embarked into, because everywhere he turned there was treachery, and then all this treachery and thievery, and just not the kind of world that Brak is used to, essentially. But that's what it was. But yeah, the stories were enjoyable. I liked Mr. Jakes' writing style. Definitely something engaging. There's some words in here I wasn't sure if they would have fit the time. I wondered about the word swagger. Is that a more modern word? Well, modern, I mean, maybe last century. I don't know. I could be wrong, though. It's not like I know history that well, but that one felt a little out of place, but I could be wrong. But overall, it was fun to read. I enjoyed the stories. I was rooting for Brak. And honestly, I thought Hiri would reach the city. I didn't realize at first there were more books in this. But, yeah, it's very enjoyable. If you find it there and you like Conan, I would definitely recommend giving this a read. But I don't think I'll try to hunt down the other books, because this is quite old, and I think it'll be, hard and expensive. As much as I enjoyed it, I can't say I have to find out what happens next. If I'd happen to stumble upon them, I would pick them up, just to see what happens with Brak, but as it is, I wouldn't go hard looking for them, but I definitely enjoyed the read. And again, look at even what she has on her chest there. Even that looks wrong, because there's nothing. What are they holding on to exactly? I don't know. She just looks wrong. Also, now thinking about it, it kind of looks like she's wearing a wig. Maybe this is a patient with scoliosis and cancer. Maybe that would explain it. I don't know. I don't like how her body looks. His either. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, Brak the Barbarian is definitely a good one. If you like Barbarian stories, definitely fun to read. Again, especially if you liked Conan, because it wouldn't be that much different. And I'm sure as soon as Conan became popular, there's probably a lot of Conan characters afterwards. Because there's Cole the Barbarian, and I'm sure there's other barbarians. It's like with Tarzan-like characters. It's hard to kind of, unless they have something to distinguish. Well, Brak is blonde. Again, I find it funny that I just kept calling him Bark. I even thought, well, who names the character Bark? I'm like, stupid, I read it wrong. It's Brock. Now, still a difficult name still, so I guess sounds a little odd, but it's the kind of names they might have had. So yeah, that's it really on this one. Again, I would recommend this one. And that is it. Let me know if you read any Brak the Barbarian books, and if so, what did you think about them? And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!